go solar, but these high-pressure tactics are exhausting.
And their prices are unbelievable. Before we do anything, let's call Great Canadian Solar.
There's a better way to go solar. Great Canadian Solar provides honest advice and fair pricing to save you from overpaying. They're easy to deal with and will never put pressure on you to buy. As a trusted local business for over 15 years, Great Canadian Solar will support you in your solar journey. Visit greatcanadiansolar.com and call today to get started.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Welcome to the Lowdown. Today's show, Oilers play the Detroit Red Wings tonight, and it should be a reasonably good time. I'd love to give a stronger recommendation, but we just can't be sure that they'll show up like right after the anthem, when the game usually starts. The Lowdown is brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Hurry in for their Wish and Win event. Everyone's a winner. You're guaranteed a minimum $500 bonus on your new vehicle purchase. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. You know we are on YouTube and Sports 1440, online at iHeartRadio, sports1440.ca, and Radio Player Canada. After the show, we go out on Apple and Spotify podcasts, and we tweet it out on X. We're also available on Twitter at Lowetide, at Declan Krueger, and Jay Fenwick 04. You can text or call anytime, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Now, seriously, they should be ready right after the anthem, after the game, the way it started last time around. Watched Detroit last night. They looked pretty good. We'll talk about that, NFL, NBA, Olympics, and more straight ahead. First, though, we'll tell you that Bag Milk is our guest at 1 o'clock today, talking Oilers Nation, and really the situation with Oiler fans who are convinced of this team, but not completely. It's time for the introductions. He yelled at me during the show yesterday, passing that important milestone. Soon he'll be ignoring me, rolling his eyes, and wearing T-shirts that say, "Retire, old man." Ladies and gentlemen, it's Josh Fenwick. Josh Fenwick, everyone.
I already ignore you.
Yeah, it's really, once you start yelling at me in studio into a microphone.
What was I yelling at you about?
I don't remember. It doesn't matter. Okay, for over a year, he's been ignoring me, rolling his eyes, and wearing T-shirts that say, "Retire, old man." Ladies and gentlemen, it's Declan Krueger. Declan Krueger, everybody.
Hey, I gave you a good first year of my undivided attention.
You did. I was so impressed. Yeah.
And I was like, hey, come on.
Remember, I know it's like, hell and back on this show, but think about the people who have graduated from this show, like Tyler Yaremchuk and Lieutenant Eric and
Connor Halley.
Gone on to great things.
Oh,
you guys,
studs.
all you have to do is endure this for a little while longer. And who knows, there's a chance that I'll, lock myself in the car and won't be able to get out and miss a show, and they'll move on from me. There's always a chance.
One can dream, right?
Hang in there, baby. It's not that far away. All right.
Well, it's the holidays. It's the season of miracles. So
by the
That's
way,
what we were yelling at each other about, the Miracle Mets.
Oh, right. Yeah. And you were wrong.
Yeah, I was. And I ate crow immediately.
Yeah, which, you'll work on that, and soon you'll deny, just like me and Mike Smith.
I mean, to be fair, they did start out
Mike's,
sub 500.
Yeah, Mike Smith, one of my favorite goalies, because he'd shoot the puck past Ethan Bear's ear. It would ring off the boards, and an opposition forward would put it in an empty net. And after the game, it'd say, "Yeah, we didn't play that very well." That's the kind of confidence you need to play National Hockey League goal. All right, same lineup as last time. Stuart Skinner in net for the Edmonton Oilers. Trent Frederick, who took a bunch of stitches yesterday in practice, will play. This Oilers team is going to play a Detroit club who played well and won last night in Calgary, but the Flames made it very interesting. Calgary Flames, I respect the hell out of that organization, because even though they had every excuse to do what I suggested they do, which is just, flush it, baby. Just check down to a losing season. Win 12, lose 67, get the number 1 overall pick. They refuse to do it. And now they're shades out of the playoffs. Like, it's gray at number 8 in the Western Conference where the playoffs are. They're like 9, 10. They're not far away. And if they keep playing well, they could, be in the playoffs. And I doubt they would add at the deadline. Do you think they'll add Josh at the deadline?
No, I don't. I don't think they will.
Just seems a bridge too far, right?
Yes.
I would say so. So NFL, are you looking forward to the game? Are you excited about what's happening here this weekend, gentlemen?
No, I'm not excited to watch the Atlanta Falcons play football anymore.
The Thursday slop, it's back.
The Thursday slop is so back. I will say this, like Tampa should win this division, but that's not a guarantee the way Carolina is playing. They kind of need this win. I expect them to get it. But it's the old adage that I really do believe rings true. It is a divisional opponent in prime time. Like, nothing about this game is guaranteed. Now, they are playing at home, so that's going to bode in their favor. But it's going to, listen, I'm not excited to watch the Atlanta Falcons play football. Full stop.
How crappy will the uniforms be? Because on Thursday night, they're usually kind of way out there machine. AI, endorsed.
Color rush? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what the uni matchup is tonight. I'm sure we could find it. Let me take a look.
Do we want to?
Nah.
I'll see it at 6:15 tonight.
Yeah, I'll see it. That sounds about right. Shout out Bijan Robinson, though. Great player.
Super good at football. I think Morris is on the hot seat. This was a big question today.
No.
You don't think so?
Nah.
Why not?
Too early into his tenure and dealing with quarterback injuries.
They fired Arthur Smith after a season and a half.
They did.
But he was really bad, and nobody liked him.
Yeah, he was really bad. Like, he couldn't call plays to save his life. No, it wasn't his role there. Obviously, he was the head coach. He wasn't the play caller, but still.
Well, the Falcons should be better, and they're not. And, I get it. Drake London has had some injury issues, and Michael Penix. He's just
kind of two important pieces.
Is he all that, though?
The Bakersfield Condors played last night. I know you're thrilled to hear about it. And one of the things you're going to see in the next few hours is the Edmonton Oilers making a couple of call-ups. I think it'll be Josh Brown. Wallman is somebody has to go on LTIR, and it might be Wallman because he hasn't played in a while. And when he does, they'll be able to call up Josh Brown. But I think there's room for a forward as well. And on the blog today, I wrote about, I know Trent Frederick took stitches, and I know he's a popular player and he's a veteran, and you're going to play him. But by the numbers, by the stats, by NHL Edge, his foot speed is not returned. High ankle sprains are the worst. Remember when Leon had his? So he's not back to 100%. And the bottom six is a problem for the Oilers, the third and fourth line. And so for me, I think that this would be the opportunity to call up Quinn Hudson or maybe Josh Szymanski or maybe even Ike Howard, although I don't think they would call him up for just a few games. But call up one of those kids and give them an opportunity, because we saw the kind of energy that Connor Clattenburg gave the fourth line when he came up. And I'm not suggesting any of the cats that I just mentioned is that style of player, but you can give the fourth line a lift by scoring a goal. And Ike Howard can score goals. Hudson has scored 13 goals in 22 games in the AHL. And Szymanski is a big center. They're always looking for centers. He's 6'2", 205. He's a lefty shot, but he's played in all of the game states, power play, even strength, penalty kill in Bakersfield. Plus, they have James Hamlin down there. My suspicion is if they do call a forward up, it'll be Quinn Hudson. Another player they might call up, Robbie Yarventi, who is really hot offensively early in this season, but he's kind of flagged a little bit. Not so hot right now in terms of offense. So I think it would come down to Hudson, Szymanski, Ike Howard, maybe James Hamlin, who has plenty of experience. But the key will be Josh Brown getting recalled. He'll be the number 7 if he does. I haven't seen it yet if it's happened. And I do wonder if Brown does play, it's a step down from Stetcher. And you always have to worry about when you put a defenseman on waivers. I don't know if you've been following Troy Stetcher in Toronto, but he's playing mega minutes and he's doing really well, and he has helped turn that team around. Why? Well, Rachel Krychak said 2 weeks ago on her Monday hit with us on the Lowdown, she was talking about not having defensemen who can move the puck. What does Troy Stetcher do well? Moves the puck. So, look, everything's done now, so you can't get mad about it, and you had to make a decision, and then Stan Bowman did. But how good would Troy Stetcher look on this roster now when they're looking at calling up Josh Brown, who does not move the puck well at all? Now, Brown is a big, tough guy, and he will bring that. And by the way, he's having a really good season in Bakersfield. He is the de facto best defenseman on the team in Bakersfield. But that will come to pass in the next little while, the next few hours. And I suspect Josh Brown and maybe somebody like Quinn Hudson. And that would be my choice. We'll see. But it's an interesting time because in the case of Hudson, it would not be his NHL debut. He played a couple of games after signing out of college, Boston University in the springtime. But he would be coming to the team on a real hot streak. He's one of the hottest players in the American Hockey League. He is a right winger, and he has two-way ability. So for me anyway, it would be an interesting thing to watch him. It won't happen tonight, obviously. But when they go on the road, they're not going to need a number 7 defenseman. Wallman probably goes on LTIR, and there will be enough room, maybe, to call up somebody like him. We haven't talked much about the Major Leagues of Baseball lately, and the winter meetings are actually over, and there weren't as many deals that were made during the winter meetings, but often they set up, and Ketel Marte is rumored to be traded. The Jays still haven't, gotten their reliever. And speaking of, one of their target relievers who was still out there, closer Robert Suarez, has signed with the Atlanta Braves. Suarez was the closer in San Diego last summer and fall, and he will be moving on to Atlanta. Apparently, the word is that he won't be closing there. Raisel Iglesias will be, but people lie. And that's a fact. I think Suarez, at the money he's coming in at, I think he probably does sign. Athletics have signed Mark Leiter as well. We'll talk more about that in rumors coming up in just a little while. Wanted to ask you about, did either of you gentlemen see the Philip Rivers media avail?
Yeah. Where they asked him about his weight?
Yeah, but he's funny, right? Like, they were loving the guy.
Oh, yeah. He's always been a funny
So
guy.
is he having more fun as the media having more fun interviewing him?
He's got to be having more fun, man. Chance to be an NFL quarterback again? Yeah. It's as fun as it gets.
But we know he's going
to die.
He's going to get shredded.
He's going to die out there. But
like, they're writing country songs about him right now.
Yeah, I guess so. They better be good. Maybe I'll give those ones a listen.
Do we have, quarterbacks always, they come back, but they come back sooner than this, don't they? Or am I wrong? Has he been out of the game not as long as I think he has?
No, he's been out for 5 years.
Yeah, how many guys leave as a quarterback, leave the NFL, and then come back 5 years later?
None? I can't think of it.
Anybody.
And if it's anybody, it's somebody who's younger and retired, say if Luck came back 5 years later.
Yeah.
But he was that would have made sense just based on his age, but he was so done with football, and you can't blame him with what that offensive line in Indy was doing at the time. Yeah, it's pretty rare. It's tough, man.
Okay, I don't want to get too gross here, but let's go around the room. And Declan, I'll start with you, and then I'll go to Josh. Give me your predictions about what happens with him as quarterback. How long does it last? How many games do they win? That kind of thing.
Man, I think he probably plays a game. I'm sorry, man. He's 44. He's been out of the league for 5 years. His last team was with the Colts, and it didn't really work out, so he retired. His mind for the game, he's always been an IQ over athleticism kind of player. I cannot see this going well. Very short. Very short.
I think it might go a little longer than that, but I don't think it's going to be very long. Like you said, smart guy. He's not going to be, he was never mobile in the pocket. He's going to be less mobile now. It's going to be all on that O-line to protect him. Because if one defender breaks through, that's it. He's got to take the sack. He can't really move around all that much.
He's going to burst like one of those vampires in From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
And he has 10 kids.
He has 10 kids and one grandkid.
Right. So, this is a guy who, you have 10 kids, you don't skydive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's one of the rules when you have children. All the daredevil ways. Get your daredeviling out of the way. I'm not even going to tell people what you're doing with your car a while ago.
Good idea.
It's also you made $243 million in your career.
Yeah.
Now, I know you had to pay a lot of California state tax on that, but still, you're sitting pretty, man. You're 44. Just go enjoy your life.
I think the highlight for him was the press conference, and I hope he retires today.
Yeah. Like Jason made a point yesterday on his show. It's like, listen, if you are a competitor, like any of us would go back to be able to play competitive. Like I know I would do anything to go back to be able to play football again. And I wasn't an NFL quarterback. So I completely get where he's coming from that point of view. But it's also like, man, you've been on the couch for 5 years. You're coaching. You've said you love doing that. You've made all the money. Like, I don't know. It just seems a little bit like.
And he's not going to win a championship here.
Well, you never know.
He might not win a game.
I just don't want him to get hurt.
Schedule?
I hate this stuff.
It's very cool, but like.
Do you know in 1967, in the fall, I believe it was 67, might have been 68.
Oh, man, he's dead. He's playing the Seahawks this week.
Yeah, they're good.
They have a deadly D-line.
In one of the late 60s falls, a defenseman named Moose Vasco made a comeback attempt. And he had gone from like 205 to something later in the 200s. And he retired shortly thereafter. And what made him retire was he physically would get like, it was too much for him. He would be ill, like in the game. And I don't like, because it's a stop and start league and it's a quick hit kind of a league. Once he hands the ball off or does a quick hit in, he's not going to be able to hold on to the ball for like 5 seconds.
No. Listen, they're like the Cold Soul line. They're not spring chickens no more.
So they'll have two fullbacks
at this point.
They'll have a tight end.
Yeah, like they're going to be like, hey, Tyler Warren, you know how you're the best receiver on this team? Get ready to block, pal.
Final question for both of you. Is this irresponsible of player and team?
No, I don't think you can go that far. He wouldn't pass medical clearance if it was, right? So
has he officially passed medical clearance yet?
Not that I've seen.
Yeah. So
we know there's going to be a groin injury, right? During the anthem.
You think it's a groin injury? I think his leg just gets like snapped. I think he's just gonna like that. He's gonna get rushed from the blind side, and he's gonna take a hit, and he's gonna land on his leg, and something is gonna tear.
I've watched a lot of boxing, and I've seen some gruesome stuff. I hope we don't see. I saw Joe Theismann's injury. I hope we don't see anything like that.
Listen, we all saw Nick Chubb's knee injury 2 years ago, where it went sideways. Yikes.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, it's happy time. On the way, we've got bagged milk, declinations. I'm assuming you're going to be talking a little Declan CAA today.
Thursday, so you know it.
What are we going to talk about?
Oh my good. There's so much to talk about. The playoff was revealed. We didn't talk about that outside of Notre Dame, so we're going to have to do that. We're going to have to break down the games.
What about Michigan's coach?
Yeah, Michigan firing their coach because he's getting staff members pregnant, paying for abortions, and then running away from the police, getting arrested.
Well, that's what it was. I did not do on this.
There's no way to get it done in 12 minutes. I'll condense it, obviously, but it's the craziest story in sports right now. Yeah, there's a lot. There is a lot. I'm very excited.
People being people on declinations. We've got rumors on the way. Bagged milk at 1 o'clock. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
More Edmonton families than ever are struggling as food prices skyrocket. The Holiday Hamper Foundation provides festive meals for 2,000 homes in need. Your donation ensures a turkey is on the table for every family. Donate today at holidayhamper.ca.
At Fountain Tire, get up to 15% off select tires, up to $125 off a set of 4 select Goodyear tires, and $50 off $150 service until December 13th. Restrictions apply. Book today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
The longest running basketball.
Against 3. Everly leaving it for Tolman. And one time. And the Kraken end their losing streak. A comeback victory over the LA Kings in overtime.
Well, we talked about the dads bringing a bit of energy.
They can cut it to single digits.
Ferocious flush.
the other end. Hayes for LA. Doncic, he's got the matchup against Olynyk. Oh, Luka Doncic splash. He nearly busted Olynyk's ankles. Hayes to the shot. Logo land. Luka Doncic with a long-range bomb to the
a lot of the Flames in his time in the division. Up ice comes Larkin. He's got some speed, and low Larkin shoots, scores. Dylan Larkin with a separator. Detroit lead. Finally moved out by Keller. Hot man. Yeah, 2-on-1. Schmaltz and Keller. Schmaltz to Keller. It's underneath Bobrovsky. You gotta be kidding.
To be kidding. And Keller cannot believe it.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Man, that's 2 Chuck Berrys in a row. Ever listen to Chuck Berry and notice that wild piano going on in the background? I love that stuff.
Listen, I'm not here to, I'm not speaking ill of Chuck Berry. Unbelievable artist. Johnny Be Good. I mean, I could listen to that all day. All his songs kind of sound exactly the same.
Well, yes. Yeah, he was right at the beginning of rock and roll. Yeah. But he wrote great lyrics.
Oh, legend.
You Never Can Tell is one of the best ones. He was also involved in some things that we don't want to get into that are harsh. So we play the music and we enjoy the innovation and the piano of Johnny Johnson. All right, it is time for Rumors, presented by Great Canadian Solar. Great Canadian Solar has been helping homeowners and businesses harness the power of the sun for 15 years. Invest in solar and yourself. GreatCanadianSolar.com. We talked a little bit about some of the things we'll be discussing here, but did want to say that as far as we know, the lines and pairings are the same. Stuart Skinner will start. There were some worries about Trent Frederick, who took some stitches yesterday. He is in the lineup and will play tonight. That's as of now. Sometimes things change. And I did mention that there's a chance that we'll see this team as they go on the road add at least a defenseman, maybe a forward. You might see Wallman go on LTIR. I think Josh Brown will be the recall on the defensive side. Riley Stillman is another veteran with NHL experience who might be the recall option. Cam Dineen is hurt. So is a really good young defenseman named Damian Carfagna, who graduated from college and signed with the team this year as a free agent. He wouldn't be a recall. He's just starting his pro career, as is Bo Akey, who also looks good, had some injury issues, but for Carfagna and Akey, their time will come later, maybe next year. But I think it'll be Josh Brown and possibly Riley Stillman as well. Now, there could be a forward recalled as well. And I think you should look at that. Several different options are possible, but I think Quinn Hudson is the likely one. He's a right winger. He penalty kills down there. He's got good speed, and he has played 2 NHL games. Josh Szymanski out of Germany, a big center, and he is another option. And I do think Ike Howard should be mentioned, even though chances are they keep him down there. By the way, in 9 games, he has 5 goals and 5 assists. All 5 of those goals come at even strength. He's playing very well. and I think he will contribute. I just don't know if it'll be this year. We have news today that the New Jersey Devils have announced Timo Meier is taking a personal leave of absence to tend to a family health matter. Nothing more said, nothing more needs to be said, but obviously a big player and a big time contract for the New Jersey Devils, and they'll want him back quickly. This is a player I think the Oilers might have some interest in. The problem is everyone else will too. The Minnesota Wild are reportedly significantly interested in Kiefer Sherwood. We've heard Dallas. We've now heard Minnesota. Florida will be in like a dirty shirt. He's their kind of player. I do wonder if the Oilers, if they have to check down from an Alex Tuck type contract or type trade, maybe Kiefer Sherwood would be ideal. The problem is Vancouver and Edmonton rarely make trades. And so that would be a barrier, and there probably would be a premium that would have to be paid by Edmonton. And they're just not really, in the business of paying premiums because they don't have that much to give. I mentioned the Oilers and Wallman possibly moving to the LTIR. One of the vagaries of this is there are other players like Noah Philpa on LTIR. There's Kasperi Kapanen, but we don't know when these players will be, kind of coming back onto the roster. So when I talk about the Quinn Hudson possible recall, we're not sure what the timeline is for some of these folks. We know that Kapanen was very close, then he got hurt, and I think Gregor said after Christmas, right, was the last we heard that he might be coming back. Is that correct? I think that it was when we talked yesterday. The NHL right now is if you see a flurry of moves, it's because the Christmas freeze is coming soon. So what happens in the NHL is once you get too close to Christmas, there's about a 1 week period where, because it's Christmas, they like to have everybody, kind of in place to enjoy their Christmas, and then they move on. It's kind of one of the last remaining remnants of tradition. In basketball, they play on Christmas Day. The NFL has played on Christmas Day. I'll be honest with you, I like watching basketball on Christmas Day, but I will say this. I would give it up if the NBA Players Association and others said, man, we don't want to do it because it's Christmas. Do you think that'll ever happen, and would you be okay if we didn't get any NBA on Christmas?
Well, it's really kind of like their day. Like in NBA circles, there's kind of an adage that the season doesn't start until Christmas. Now, obviously, Goodell has kind of strong-armed them, and he started putting games on Christmas Day as well. And the NFL is obviously top of the mountain, like it's number one. So if they put games there, they're gonna have control of that day. But no, it feels like there's nothing like watching, like just having an NBA game on the background on Christmas Day. It's so awesome, and to me, it does feel like the league starts on Christmas.
Well, I make a turkey on Christmas Day. And what I've done the last couple of years is I get it all prepared in time to watch the 76ers game. Now, they're not on every year, but they have been. And it's sort of my hello to the NBA. It all starts, it gets on. Their schedule seems like it's a little more hurried this year. But by Christmas, I sort of start to rally around the league and start paying attention to it a little bit more. And so I like it as a tradition, but I could watch, there's Treehouse Television. I could watch a good Christmas movie, Die Hard is a real good one.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Real Christmas movie.
Has your man Brad Pitt been in any Christmas movies?
Probably.
No.
Everyone seems to have at least one.
Yeah.
You agree, though. You love the NBA on Christmas.
I do. Yes. I don't know about Josh.
Yeah, sorry.
I do. I really like the NBA on Christmas. I think outside of like the playoffs and that 3 weeks, 4 weeks leading into the playoffs and the beginning of the year, it's the most high level singular day of basketball because everyone wants to win on Christmas. Everybody wants to win on Christmas. So those games get very exciting, and I love watching them.
I want to ask you this because I do not follow the NFL draft at this time in the year. I like the NFL draft. I watch it every year. I love it when some gigantor lineman comes out and lifts the commissioner clean over his head and hurts his back. But I've read a lot about Arch Manning, and I was surprised to read that he's still kind of like up there in terms of possibility of going number one or early in the draft. Do you agree with that? And do you think it will happen?
No, couldn't see that happening at all. I don't think he'll go in the first round. I actually think he's going to stay at Texas another year.
Which might improve his stock if he gets another year and he shows better, right?
Yeah, honestly, like he can't coming into the season, he was a Heisman front runner, number one pick in the draft front runner, and he just tanked both of those stocks. I would be like stunned. Doesn't even put into he won't be the first overall pick. No way. It'll be Mendoza, and it should be.
And who's going to get the Giants are number one?
I think the Giants have the number one overall pick, right? Or no, it's the Titans, right?
No, because is it now?
I think it's tied between the Giants and the Titans because the Titans got a second win.
Silly fools.
The 2026 NFL draft order as it stands right now: New York Giants number 1, Vegas Raiders number 2, Tennessee Titans number 3.
Love it. Good. The reason I just say I love it is because there's certain organizations that when you watch them, you know they're going to draft a guy, and then 3 years later he'll be available, and he'll still be good, but he won't work in their system of their new head coach. The third head coach, the young quarterback, will be playing under.
For sure. If it's the Giants, they won't take a quarterback. That would have to be the Raiders. But yeah,
the Raiders.
Sorry, Gino, you will be cut.
The Raiders have won Super Bowls with Stabler and Plunkett as quarterbacks. I don't think they were drafted by the Raiders. Stabler might have been. I don't think he was, though. Do you guys remember lefty thrower for the Raiders?
Why would I know Ken Stabler?
Old Kenny.
Well, maybe you watch old NFL films. They're
I've definitely seen game tape of him, but obviously I do not remember him.
He was drafted by the Raiders.
Okay. I still think Green Bay's got the template for quarterbaks.
Yeah, but
absolutely they do, but it's kind of tough to do.
Well, okay, let's say let's say you're the Giants. No, let's say who else is in the top 3? Titans?
Yeah, Giants, Raiders, Titans in that order.
And the Raiders are the ones that need the quarterback?
Star
Raiders
quarterback.
Okay.
Titans have
so
had.
Let's say you're the Raiders and you've got the number 3 pick. Trade down to 7, get number 28, and then draft your big old lineman at 7 and get a quarterback at 28, but don't start him. Just have him build up to start.
If you're the Raiders?
Well, they're the team that needs a quarterback.
Yeah.
Well, don't do it now.
This is
not
an option.
Yeah, so what? Play Geno Smith for another year?
Half a year?
Are you going to win the Super Bowl in 2026?
No.
You're not, but like that's a restless
But
fan
learning
base.
from Geno Smith versus learning from Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers are two very different
things. Well, then
things.
go get a quarterback who's old, not going to win anything, but could mentor the youngster.
Well, that's what
there has to be a better way than what I feel bad for these kids.
But Lowetide,
Rivers out of retirement
reason.
again.
They're going to draft some kid. He's going to go there. He's going to get his brains beaten in because they don't have an offensive line.
Listen,
and then he'll play 3 solid seasons for the Cardinals in his late 20s.
The Packers have the model down. No doubt about it. No one's disputing that. But there's a reason they're the only team with that model because it is super tough to do. Like the model is have 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks back to back sit under each other and then have a third guy who's a top 10 quarterback.
Why do they do it well and nobody else does?
Because they had Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. What are we talking about here? Tom Brady didn't stay on the Patriots, and the Patriots, they got rid of Jimmy G because Tom Brady was like, no, I don't.
Well,
I
think that's it. I think that the Packers make sure that the quarterback who's the starter and the Hall of Famer isn't an asshat to the backup.
Here's the other thing that we have to factor in. Like the Packers hit 3 times in a row. That's also very tough to do. Like there's something to be said for sitting and learning, which is great and necessary. But how hard is it to hit 3 times in a row? The Packers did.
Then let me revise what I want to say. I want the Raiders to do what the Packers do, but I want them to hire the guy who drafts the quarterbacks in Green Bay. Who's that guy?
Who is their GM? What's his name?
See, this is how Green Bay works. Nobody even knows the name of the damn guy.
Green Bay really does. They are kind of the preeminent organization of building through the draft and not really targeting free agents and keeping players. Or they had been for a while.
Oh, God.
You can't even pronounce his name. This is perfect.
I know his first name's Brian.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying.
His name is
Like there are teams that do this.
Gutenhurst. I think,
In the Major Leagues of Baseball, Milwaukee Brewers, they get a bunch of guys who can barely hit, and they win 97 games. In the NBA, the team to respect is, and again, they draft extremely well, is San Antonio. Unless it's changed since the last time I looked at it, they're rarely big players in free agency, but they draft really well.
Yeah, but like
they try to make plays in free agency. Like they went out and got LaMarcus Aldridge a little while ago. They make some big trades as well. Tried to bring in DeMar when DeMar was still the peak of his power.
I just think those are the templates. Year after year, you keep giving chances to these bluttery, fluky teams like Cleveland. Maybe Cleveland could go to school at Green Bay. Maybe the Cleveland GM flies to Green Bay. It can't be far.
Listen, the problem with that is that the Packers are owned by the community.
Yes.
The Browns are owned by a greedy guy who just wants to sell tickets. So they draft a shiny new quarterback.
So you say.
So like history says, they draft a shiny new quarterback who everyone's like, oh yeah, we love this guy. He sucks because he goes behind a terrible O-line. But guess what? They sell tickets to all 17 games of the season because Browns fans are like, maybe this time I won't die inside. And they keep going to these games. And it's just like they're printing money.
Yeah. It also is like, to be fair, those are the two most extreme examples.
Yes, but we like to frame issues like that.
True. Fact.
I will say this, that ownership is like such a big part of the success of any franchise. Like they just are. Because that's an ultimate example. Who's going to interfere in Green Bay? Nobody. Like I think do they still allow people to own parts of the Packers? You can't do anything with them. You can buy shares, right?
Yeah.
All right. It's 12:35 on the way. We're going to go to the text line. We're going to talk about the Oilers. We're going to talk about tonight's game. Who's going to show up, the Jekyll or the Hyde Oilers? We'll find out. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
December Oil Kings hockey at Rogers Place. Family fun that's second to none, starting at just $20 a seat.
Family Fun Sunday, your Edmonton Oil Kings face the Brandon Wheat Kings. Enjoy the Kids Fun Zone, face painting, and bouncy castles.
Have your photo taken with Santa on the concourse and receive a printed copy with a donation to Santa's Anonymous.
Plus, there'll be a pregame mini locker room sale just in time for the holidays.
Oil Kings, Wheat Kings, photos with Santa, 4 p.m. this Family Fun Sunday.
Great seats at Rogers Place start at only $20 at oilkings.ca.
Picture this. You're sleeping and you're awake, but it's a good day because you're about to make your way to McDonald's to pick up some breakfast. Fast forward, you're there. But what's this? You can now get all those breakfast classics penny style with rich, creamy hollandaise style sauce. A happy little tear rolls down your cheek. You grab your small McCafe premium roast coffee, still just $1 plus tax every day. And see. Get up and at 'em with the Egg McMuffin. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada. Prices exclude delivery.
This is Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
You matter. Your mental health matters, and you're braver than you think. Not Alone is an organization focused on creating a space of acceptance and support through tough, meaningful conversation. My name is Tyler Smith, and you are never alone. NotAloneCo.com. It's okay to not be okay.
I'm Gene Principe, bringing season's heatings from Legacy Heating and Cooling. For Yuletide comfort you'll love this Christmas. You should
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
There's no better way to fix your furnace. You just... They're professional, never rude, doll. You should
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Plus, no interest and no prints of payments for 1 year when you buy with Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Hey, you know winter is really freaking cold, right? So play it smart. Don't get caught freezing in your car with your pants down and no power. At Big Toy Shop right now, lead-acid batteries are just $129. $129 is a great price for a good start. Big Toy Shop. Power up and save some.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Dude, I can't believe Roman J. hit your last line. It was the taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. That's what compared to.
Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Check them out. Wish and Win event continues. WolfGMCBuick.com. It's 12:40. Spinner from North Edmonton. LT last night, a 6'8" defenseman, Louis Crevier, scored a shorthanded goal on a breakaway. Got to be the NHL record, is it not? Well, for size, no. Zdeno Chara was 6'9". I don't know that he ever scored on a breakaway. Probably a shootout. I was in the building when Martin Marincin scored, I think on the 10th try, as the Oilers beat the Boston Bruins in a shootout. Gosh, that had to be 15, 14 years ago, something like that. Jason Strudwick would remember. He was on the bench, not in the shootout. What are you talking about? Browns have a good O-line all the time. Yeah, they have good quarterbacks too, but they just trade them, and then they bring somebody else in. Guys, I know everyone else has noticed this too regarding Regula. Why does this guy not shoot on the net? He has so many opportunities, lots of lanes open for a shot, defers all the time. What's up? Well, I mean, it might be, that he doesn't feel like he's got, a chance to score. Or maybe he thinks he's, who knows? He's just getting into the league. You kind of have to wait for the game to slow down for young players. And I know that he's 25, but he's still young in terms of NHL experience. I like Regula. He had a terrible start in terms of 5-on-5 outscoring, but I think there's a player there. Not sure that it'll be here in Edmonton because they're going to be up against it. Emberson and Regula are at the end of the roster. They're probably going to make a trade for a defenseman at the deadline, a veteran. So one of those guys might be gone. What's your favorite Christmas movie? Wow. Well, I really like Die Hard, but I also like It's a Wonderful Life very much. I've seen it most Christmases since I started celebrating Christmas, which was later on. I love, when I was a kid, before I would celebrate Christmas, my favorite Christmas movie was, and my only connection to Christmas was the Charlie Brown Christmas, which I love to this day. When you don't celebrate something, but you're wildly curious about it, I think you're maybe even more interested in it. So Charlie Brown Christmas was fabulous. Did something fall down over there? Okay. So yeah, I'm not sure. Do you guys have a favorite Christmas movie?
Obviously, I have it. Well, hey, Connor, don't give us that, or Brandon or whoever that was, don't give us sass. Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
I love White Christmas.
Oh yeah, Bing Crosby.
It's my favorite.
Yeah.
Favorite every year.
That is a great movie.
Honestly, no lie. Since it's the holiday season, this was going to be my declinations on Friday.
Oh wow, right on.
Yeah, so
maybe don't say.
I'm going to save it for then. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be quick. We'll get through it
cool.
in 5 minutes. But yeah, I was going to do it this
Peek
Friday.
behind the curtain week.
I think Slapshot had a Christmas scene or two, so maybe we could run Slapshot in there. Come on, you like Die Hard.
Okay, but the fact that it's Christmas is integral to the plot. They're having a Christmas party upstairs. Meanwhile, everyone else in Nakatomi Plaza is gone because it is Christmas Eve.
Well, Huey Lewis wasn't gone. Wasn't that Huey Lewis at the door?
No,
security guy?
Well,
It
yeah,
looked
well,
like
they
him.
need
It
that.
sure
You need to
looked
have a
like him.
security guy.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think Slapshot has some Christmas scenes. You're rolling your eyes again. Wow.
I'm not listening to you, actually.
Lowetide
So,
Strud scored in that shootout just before Merrick Malik. I know, but not in the one where Marinson scored. I just given Struddy a hard time. He's been texting me about the Eagles' poor play lately, which, it's because I've been teasing him about Danny Dimes forever. I know that. Why I'm trying to figure out why they sent Stetcher down and lost him to waivers versus Tomasic. Tomasic makes more money, and Stetcher was a very good player in the playoffs and minimum. Can you say why? I can't. I suggested at the time that Tomasic being sent down, he didn't risk waivers. You could send him down. Now, they may have an agreement with Tomasic that if they send him down, he can bolt back to Europe, and they may like him enough to not have that occur. But the problem is defensemen are so valuable during the regular season and then really valuable during the playoffs. You're going to run out of them. In 2006, one of the reasons the Buffalo Sabres didn't win the Stanley Cup was they ran out of defensemen. They had to call Nathan Page back from the beach. And he wasn't even on their NHL team. He was on their AHL team. Their season was over. They had to call him back from the beach to practice and play with the team. Defensemen are really, really important to NHL teams. So that's why I was a little surprised they lost him to waivers. And you're right. Tomasic could have been sent down, although there may have been a contractual agreement that he could not, or at least he would be heading back to Europe if it happened. Rambo has a Christmas tree in the background. Maybe we can include Rambo.
We can't include there's not even there's no snow on the ground in Rambo.
I think we have to include Rambo.
You can't include Rambo.
I think we are.
It takes place in Hope, BC, and there is no snow on the ground.
The foot is coming down. Oh, the foot's down. I've decided.
Oh, that's too bad. I get it's your show, but you're wrong. This is so wrong.
The best part of this is that you react. It is. Declan stops reacting. He's like doesn't react.
Yeah,
anymore.
well, I'm new to this. All right, so
Singing in the Rain, great Christmas movie.
How is that a Christmas movie? I no, please break it down to me. How is Singing in the Rain a Christmas movie?
Well, it was raining, but it turned into snow later in the movie. Yeah, Sound of Music was certainly a Christmas movie.
What are we talking about? Isn't this a sport? I can't believe I'm saying this because
Isn't this a sports show? And now we've gone the entire circle, ladies and gentlemen. Troy Stetcher is a number 9 D-man. Actually, he isn't. The Oilers had really good depth on defense. The Athletic, the numbers at the Athletic, at the beginning of the year, I think they had them as a just below top tier defense, and they have not been fans of the Edmonton defense at the Athletic overall. These are the numbers that Dom and others, Shayna, put together. And they do a little package before the season, and Edmonton fared well because of their depth and because of the quality and because of the addition of Jake Wallman. But also, Stetcher is a guy who can step in, and he did play very well with Darnell Nurse a year ago. They don't have that option now. I do think that defense is so important that if there are times you have 8 good ones and none of them can get sent down, that sending down a forward isn't the worst thing in the world. Now, I am not the general manager. Stan Bowman is. But I suspect today, when they're looking at calling up Josh Brown for the road trip, they wish they had Troy Stetcher on the roster. Grinch with Jim Carrey.
Overrated.
I'm going to agree with that. Edward Scissorhands.
All right, what are we doing here?
I think that is a Christmas movie.
I'm not mad at Edward Scissorhands. That one has some pretty significant Christmas decor.
Yeah, and there's a good message in it too.
What's the message in Edward Scissorhands?
Trim your hedges.
No.
Trim your hedges.
Love thy neighbor.
And trim your hedges.
Judge not, you be judged.
Yeah. Josh.
Thank you for what's that second commandment? Love thy neighbor.
I don't know them in order.
Okay.
Wow.
Well then, I know the 7th commandment: thou shalt not steal.
Polar Express.
Listen, I get it. People like it. You can like what you like. That movie sucks. I get hot chocolate stuck in my head every year.
It's a good song. Everyone's a Winner and You Sexy Thing. They're both good.
What?
Hot chocolate.
Is that in the Polar Express movie?
No, it's a
Hot
band
Chocolate
from the
song?
70s.
Oh, no. Like the Hot Chocolate song from Polar Express.
You like that?
I really don't. It gets stuck in my head every year.
If Luke Bryan sang it, you'd buy it.
No.
So this comes in, Tide. You seem like a church every Sunday kind of guy. I have been in my life. Sadly, I am not at this time. But my friend Declan is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Big time.
Scrooged.
You're all welcome to join me, by the way.
Scrooged with Bill Murray.
That's good.
So good. By the way, I kind of agree. I'm an animated Grinch guy. Jim Carrey's, it's a little bit too like I don't need my Grinch to be the mask.
Yes.
I love Charlie Brown Christmas, but I also love the Burl Ives one. I don't remember what it's called. It has Snow for Johnny and Have a Holly Jolly Christmas in it. I like that one.
Man, some of the best ones are those like half-an-hour specials on CBC, like
bet.
Rudolph, that claymation one.
Damn right, you were right. Absolutely. Yeah. Rocky 4. It's during Christmas. Okay, we've got a couple of Rocky, Rambo movies.
Whoa. The first scene is at Christmas. The first scene. That like let's not go around saying Rocky 4 is a Christmas
Seems
movie
like you're ruining people's Christmases by making
sorry,
the
guys.
call on
Listen, okay,
Christmas
I get it.
non-Christmas
Apollo
movies.
dies right around Christmas. That's like just they're at Christmas. Ivan Drago's like, I want to fight Rocky, and then they end up fighting
Here's the
Apollo
thing.
Creed.
You can say Rocky movies or whatever they are. They are the best boxing footage movies on the planet.
Super fun, super funny to watch them back a couple times, and then you see that like they put the sound effect of someone getting hit over what was clearly a miss.
Right. And then he says, cut me, which is like, oh my God.
Cut me, Mick. Mick, you gotta cut me.
Wild.
Raging Bull had great.
Oh, yeah, it did. You're right.
Boxing
Yeah,
scenes as
it did. That was a tough movie, though.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Rocky was entertaining. The first one was a truly great movie. And so was Raging Bull. But Raging Bull is a tough watch.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it's a great boxing movie. Real Steel. I love Real Steel. So fun. Robots boxing. What's better than that?
Cat Dad says the fight happens in Russia at Christmas.
Does it?
Well,
Northside Jason just texted that in as well.
All right. Well, I guess I was wrong.
Wow. It happens.
But that being said, this is the argument that some people use against Die Hard, and now I'm going to use it against Rocky 4. Christmas does not play an integral plot or an integral role in the plot of Rocky 4.
Okay, well, we're going to get into plots
that's
of movies.
Is that Rocky 4? That looks like the Rocky 5 poster.
This is Rocky 5.
But if we're going to get into the dialogue and who
That
said
one
what,
sucks.
you know, come out to the coast, we get together, have a few laughs. What movie is that from?
Die Hard.
Thank you. That is a Christmas movie. We can agree.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
You and I have covered it. That is, in fact, a Christmas movie.
If you are just tuning in, this is Sports 1440 Radio, and we are talking about the Oilers. No lineup changes. We should mention that Trent Frederick had some stitches, and we are, expecting him to play. That's the word. Stuart Skinner will start in the game. They'll head out on the road afterwards. So, like tonight or tomorrow, we could see a roster move. One suspects based on intel. And what the media is saying, guys like Gregor who are down at the beat, it will look like this. Wallman on LTIR, a defenseman up. I'm saying it's likely to be Josh Brown, could be Riley Stillman. I doubt it's Boake, but who knows? And then everybody else is pretty much hurt. Or Atro Lepidin, who is too chaotic to play in the NHL. I'm sure of it. I'd love to see it, though. And then the forward, there is a possibility of a forward coming up because Wallman makes enough that you could do that. And I wonder if it's Quinn Hudson. It could be Ike Howard. James Hamblin is doing well down there. And Josh Szymanski, the German center, those centers and forwards that were signed by Stan Bowman in the spring coming out of Europe and colleges have really taken over the Condors, who did not play well last night. Should mention that Connor Ingram was in goal. He had a tough run there. In the second period, I think there were 4 goals against. They were up 2 Cobb and then 5 goals in total over 2 periods went in on the other side for Henderson. And so they lost the game. But People are always wondering about when Connor Ingram might be ready to come back. It's probably not, soon. I would say for sure not before Christmas, and we'll see into the new year.
How many games does Connor Ingram need to string together? Good games in a row.
I would say three. I'd say three. He could do it in a week. If he played well for 3 games in a row, I think they call him up and give him a look.
You think with even how bad he's playing right now, it doesn't take a little longer than that to see that he isn't just like hot?
It could. But I guess it would depend on his state of mind, and there's no real way we can talk about it.
Yeah.
We just don't know. Marky Mark saying, I'm hearing Max Jones. Jones has played better recently, and he is a tough kind of a guy in the spirit of Connor Clattenburg with more experience. But early in the year, he did not seem ready, and maybe he's worked himself into game shape, has scored a few, and been on the ice for a few goals in the last few games. So that's a possibility as well. All right, coming up in hour number 2, it'll be our friend Bagged Milk from Oilers Nation to talk about these Oilers and the game tonight and which version of the team will show up, because I think that's important to talk about. We'll also have more of your comments at 1:20, and at 1:40 today, it's Declan CAA going to talk about a fired coach of a big program and a little bit about what could be happening as we head towards these bowl games and coaches making moves. All right, this is the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube. It's time for an update with Declan Krueger.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Custom Floors Inc. Floors done right for homes or businesses. Visit the new showroom on 149th Street at 11577. It's open 6 days a week, and they have Saturday hours from 10 to 2. And you can also visit customfloorsinc.ca and bring that next flooring project to life. Oilers in action at home tonight, 7 p.m. versus the Detroit Red Wings. Pregame coverage getting going with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson at 6. Elsewhere in the NHL, action will get going at 5 o'clock with games including the Sharks and Maple Leafs, Lightning and Devils, and Anaheim in New York to take on the Islanders. The late game today in the league will see the Buffalo Sabres in Vancouver to take on the Canucks. 4 games today in the NBA. It gets going at 6. LA and Houston, the Clippers, that is, Boston and Milwaukee, and Portland and New Orleans. The late game will see the Denver Nuggets in Sacramento to take on the Kings. And of course, Thursday night football tonight, the Atlanta Falcons in Tampa for an NFC South divisional battle versus the 7-6 Buccaneers. In the sporting world, TJ Watt has been hospitalized after experiencing discomfort in his lungs. Closer Robert Suarez has signed a 3-year, $45 million contract with the Braves. And recently fired Michigan head coach Sharon Moore spent the last night in a county jail after allegations of threatening violence. I'm Declan Krueger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440. Stingray Radio Station. CHJR. Broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
He's a winner.
Sweet.
She's a winner too.
Right.
Everyone's a winner during Wish and Win at Wolf GMC Buick. Every single customer is guaranteed at least a $500 bonus with a chance to save up to $25,000 towards a new GMC or Buick. At Wolf GMC Buick, we also have 0% financing up to 84 months on most of our popular SUVs and trucks. And we're clearing out remaining 25s, including cash discounts up to $10,000 on a great selection of Sierra HDs. 90 seconds east of the Henday. Wolf GMC Buick, where everyone wins.
Mr. Rooter decorates a gingerbread house.
Wow. What did you do here, Mr. Rooter?
Well, we've got a Jube Jube toilet, complete with an icing-based wax seal. The main water line is licorice, red for hot, black for cold. You got your standard marshmallow hot water tank and a candy cane sewer line. And on the outside, candy cone hose pips. Disgusting, but they get the job done.
To have your Yule clogs fixed, trust one plumber, Mr. Rooter.
Wing Wednesday at First Round. Whether you're coming for the first round, the last round, or a few rounds in between, they've got you covered. With half-price wings every Wednesday night. Half-price wings. Over 35 delicious flavors like Cajun salt and pepper, maple bacon, and Inferno wings. Now half price every Wednesday night. Wash them down with a cold pint of Canadian or Coors Light for only $5.75. Half price Wing Wednesdays at First Round in West Ed and now downtown. First Round, burgers, beer, sports.
the longest running basketball show in Canada, airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Aloha Edmonton, it's back. Century Vision Care's 4th annual Maui Christmas event on Friday, December 12th from 9 to 5. Century Vision Care, Edmonton's biggest Maui gym retailer, is bringing the island spirit to your holiday shopping. Enjoy in-house savings on all prescription and non-prescription Maui gyms, plus giveaways, prizes, snacks, and beverages all day. Same-day eye exam appointments are available, and they direct bill most insurance plans, but spots are filling fast. Get ahead on your Christmas list and treat yourself to a new pair of Maui gyms. Visit Century Vision Care on Instagram.
Vinny and Don in Hockey are dedicated to skill development for all hockey players. If you know a student athlete interested in growing as a person and a player, register for a free shadow day. Beginner or experienced, this program develops a student athlete skill in a supportive environment. It's a great opportunity for prospective student athletes entering grades 3 through 12 to see what Vimy and Donnan have to offer. Visit vimyridge.epsb.ca or donnan.epsb.ca for more info and to sign up.
Diablo Boots sells only Canadian-made work and biker boots made by Canada West. No American or boots made in China, so no tariffs. All of Diablo's boots have replaceable soles and heels for longer life. Sizes 6 to 14 Triple E. Buy quality, buy Canadian. And support Canada West and Diablo, the two best names in the boot business. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Buy Canadian. They're terrific.
'Tis the season for Sally's. Sally's Sports Bar and Lounge. Take a break from the holiday hustle and bustle. Cheer on your favorite team and ask about the daily game night food and drink features. Plus, there's tons of TVs and Oilers watch parties this December and all season long. Sally's Sports Bar and Lounge at all 3 Century Casino locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Check it out.
Every day is game day at Century Casino.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Hurry in for their Wish and Win event. Everyone's a winner with a chance to save up to $25,000 towards a new GMC or Buick. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. A little after 1 o'clock. Do you know that song, Staying Alive, was originally called Saturday Night, and then they changed the lyrics? Remember John Travolta walking down the street carrying paint cans? It was a long time ago. That was also a Christmas movie. We are now joined by our friend Bagged Milk. What Nation? Bagged Milk, how are you?
I'm doing very well, minus the freezing tundra temperatures outside.
What's your favorite Christmas movie?
Favorite Christmas movie? Die Hard, of course. Christmas movie. Everybody knows that. Let's be honest.
It's 3 out of 4 here, and the only one who didn't mention it is because he's going to be mentioning it tomorrow on his Declanation's top 5 Christmas movie list. So we'll look forward to that 12:40 tomorrow. All right. Which version of the Oilers is going to show up tonight, sir?
I'm hoping the one that we saw against Seattle and Winnipeg. That's the fun one. Or you know what? I take that back. Even the one we saw in the third period against the Sabres.
Yeah.
Any of those would be fine by me, but I don't know what that was against Buffalo. And while no NHL player would ever say or admit or vocalize that maybe they took them lightly, it sure did look like it. So I think the Oilers will be fine if they just go back to what made them successful in those 2 wins. Now, I'm not expecting blowouts as we saw against the Kraken and the Jets, but that level of play, that level of intensity, the simplification of their plays rather than looking for the perfect passing like we saw a little bit in the first 2 periods against Buffalo. If they do that, they're going to be fine. But for whatever reason, those first 2 periods really had their foot off the gas.
It's funny because, I think Oiler fans, they want the wins, and they hope the players, go off the ice, they're placed in stasis and just, regenerate. And then, like they're members of the Borg, and then come out the next game and they're, fresh as daisies. But these folks have lives and families and things that they attend to. And we know in our own lives that not every day of work is pristine. Sometimes you're doing your best and you're gutting it out for whatever reason. But I was very surprised to see them, play the way they did against Buffalo, where they were having a hard time, getting out of their own end. Their stretch passes weren't working, and they seem to be staying in that mode. I would like to see them, if things aren't working, to have some kind of plan they could check down to. And I'm not sure why the Oilers are a little bit predictable this year, but I'm going to accuse them of being a little bit predictable on their breakouts, and maybe even how they approach, other teams. And then I'm a little worried about their penalty kill.
Yeah, I think you've made some interesting points there. I think that ultimately it comes down to details, right? And making sure that they're playing simple hockey and not trying to overreach. I think when the Oilers are at their best, they're playing a simple brand of hockey. And whether that's at even strength or on special teams, they're at their best when they have a plan and they execute it without trying to get too fancy or trying to make things happen that aren't there. So I just think at the end of the day, no matter where they're at on the ice or even strength or special teams, it's just keep it simple. When they're playing at their best, it really is simple hockey. We're talking about getting traffic in front of the net, shooting, getting people to the crease, blocking shots, rubbing guys out in the corners, making sure that you've got good body position. It all goes down to the basics. And I think that once the Oilers go back to their basics, that's when we see the best out of them.
Is there a sense that I mean, I don't think anybody's worried the Oilers are going to make the playoffs, but they got through November, and November was a tough schedule. Lots of back-to-backs, a long road trip, and this December schedule looked like it was going to ease those issues, and they really have been. Like I run a prediction on my blog, and if they win tonight, they'll be right on track with what I predicted for the month. So it's not like they're in a big calamity. It's just that when they look poor, they look so poor, and the difference between the Oilers' floor in terms of quality and their ceiling is so large, and I guess that's the frustrating thing for fans, that it can seem to turn on a dime, and they don't seem to be able to control it.
Yeah, I mean, the roller coaster goes it's up and down. The ebbs and flows are sharp. And I think that the consistency that you're talking about with the highs and the lows being so drastically different is something they need to smooth out. And I think that comes back to the details of their game and making sure they're playing simple consistently, not consistent for 6 periods against the Kraken and the Jets and then forgetting about it for the first 40 minutes against Sabres. It has to be that way every night. Consistency is like, the best way I can think about it is maybe not so much these days, but back in the 90s when you went to McDonald's, you knew exactly what you were getting every single time you went into that place, whether it was a burger, fries, or whatever. And I want the same thing for the Oilers. I want to know exactly what I'm going to get when I turn on my TV tonight for the Red Wings game. I want to know exactly how they're going to play. I want to know exactly how they're going to look. And while wins don't happen every single night, at least if they play the way that they can and they lose, you can take it. But when they kind of lay an egg for the first 40 minutes against a team as bad as Buffalo, I mean, that's frustrating. And it's totally understandable why the fans are frustrated, because we see them perform at a much higher level than this quite often. So when they fall back down to earth, it's really, really frustrating.
Meg Milk, our guest from Oilers Nation on Sports 1440 and the Lowdown with Lowetide. I know that they're going on the road, and I suspect there's going to be some transactions, including Wallman on LTIR, and maybe Josh Brown coming up, maybe Max Jones coming up. I'd like to see one of the youngsters, young forwards come up, like Quinn Hudson and Josh Szymanski. But I guess that, that probably will come in time, maybe not on this road trip.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, like, especially with the Wallman going on to LTIR. I think Gregor had that on Twitter a little bit earlier. It's going to be interesting to see who they bring up. To your point about Quinn Hudson, I mean, wow, this kid is he's super impressive so far. 22 games, he's got 24 points in the AHL. That's not too bad for a guy who was found money. Who knows where his ceiling is or whether that translates to the NHL level, but that's an exciting prospect to find out of nowhere. So I'm really intrigued to see it. I really love competition in the lineup. We know that the Oilers are still banged up. You mentioned Wallman, and obviously Roslovic and Kapanen are still a ways out. So seeing what we have in some of these kids coming up from Bakersfield, I'm excited about that because they may not be here for a long time, but I'm hoping they're here for a good time. And maybe they can even make an impact in their own way like Connor Clattenburg has, even though he's playing limited minutes. So I'm excited about it. If it's just someone like Quinn Hudson, I'd love to see it. He was my Ty Ratty Award winner, Al, in the preseason for the preseason champ. So that is a very prestigious award, and I'd love to see him follow that up with a call-up.
Yeah, that seems better. Like I like that idea. I remember when Ratty, he got a contract out of that, didn't he? He played so well with McDavid. Yeah. It's funny, because the Oilers haven't won Stanley Cups. I think that sometimes fans look back on those years as being, difficult or failures or whatever. But there were some fun stories, and Ratty was one of them. They had very little money, and they called him up from the AHL because that's what was the option was. And man, he just shot lights out, and he got another contract. And I think he played another half season or so.
He sure did. I mean, there's countless examples if you think back of guys who came in and ripped it up during the preseason. Of course, you remember Yessi Yoensu. We were all calling him Uncle Yessi before Yessi Pugliarvi showed up. So there's countless examples of those. But bringing it back to the kind of the point of your question, for a guy like Quinn Hudson to be doing what he's doing in his first pro season has been super impressive. And if the coaching staff feels like what he's doing with the Condors has merited him a chance to at least get a cup of coffee, maybe a couple of games of NHL pay under his belt, and have that as a carrot for him through the rest of the season, I think we're in a good spot. You need to have some of these guys show up in your lineup eventually and find a way to contribute. And the only way to find out if those players are around is by giving them the chance. We'll see if they get them.
Back Melcar guest from Oilers Nation on Sports 1440. We talked earlier yesterday and earlier today about Evan Bouchard and about his play. He struggled early, and then for about a month he was back to being Evan Bouchard. Some real tough moments in the Buffalo game, but I think that, and I hope that people realize that when you look at the outscoring at 5-on-5 and the contributions that he makes with or without Connor McDavid. This is a guy who is a difference maker and one of the more valuable players on the team. Do you see him as a player who will eventually get his due? I'm not sure that Paul Coffey completely got his due while he was here, which is too bad because he was a brilliant player.
Yeah, I just wish sometimes people could separate what was a bad game from suggesting it's a bad player. Because I'm doing this off the top of my head, and maybe you have the numbers in front of you, but I'm pretty sure he has 12 points in his last 10 games.
No.
They do not grow defensemen like this on trees. That doesn't happen that often. He's a very, very special offensive player. But there are some times, and we all know it, there's warts in the defensive game. But I also think when he's playing really well offensively, that those get smoothed out more often than not. And like you said, I completely agree. For a month, he's been rock solid. So for him to have a bad game, listen, it happens. I didn't like the giveaway or the strip or whatever you want to call it on the Tage Thompson goal either. I didn't like the coverage on the OT goal. Well, that's true. But to me, I just kind of look at it. That was one moment in time where a very good hockey player had a rough night. To me, that's all it is.
This is the question I've been waiting to ask you because I always formulate a question usually Sunday, and I didn't get to it till last night that occurred to me. But I was looking at the Oilers' record. If they win tonight, they'll be 3-1-1 in their 5-game homestand. They won the last game of November, so they'll be 4-1-1 in their last 6. So my question to you is: the media and or the fans too hard on this team?
Yeah, probably. But I think that comes with the expectations that we have for them. We just watched this team go to the Cup final twice in a row. Obviously, we didn't get the outcome we wanted, but that expectation, that bar is sky high now. It is, when Leon said Cup or bust a handful of off seasons ago, that's how everybody feels right now. And to see the Oilers struggle early on in the season, I mean, they've done it the last couple of years. To do it for a third time is frustrating. And I think that waiting for that consistency to come out and hoping we go on a tear in the back half of the season, I think it's a grind on some people. But are we too hard on them? Of course. But that's part of playing in this market because we love the Oilers. It is minus 30 outside, and most of the city is going to be collecting either at the rink or around their TVs to watch the game tonight, and they expect the results. And what I think is most frustrating is you know that they're there. You know that this team can play much better than it has, and I think that's really ultimately frustrating the fan base. But some of the discourse, yeah, I think it's a little bit too harsh for sure. I mean, we just spoke about Evan Bouchard. He's had a magical run here over the last month. But yeah, undoubtedly he had one bad night, but that's not going to write off what he does for the rest of the year, at least not to me.
How's Frank's record and how's Frank feeling?
Frank's record's actually doing pretty well right now, though I will say he has lost the last 2 games. He did predict a win against the Jets. He did predict the Oilers to beat the Sabres. So he's going to have to regroup here a little bit. I think that he went on a run. I think it was 4 or 5 games in a row that he won. He was feeling really good. And much like the Oilers, I'm wondering if maybe that confidence went to his head a little bit against the Sabres. A lot of us were kind of looking at it as a trap game. We've all talked about trap games many, many times over the years, and maybe that was one of them. But to answer your question specifically, he's 17-13 on the season. Now we're in a good spot, but he has to get back on the right track because we did lose the last 2.
All right, thanks for this and enjoy the game.
Thanks, Al.
There you go. Bag Milk. Monash Nation. Is media, are fans too hard on the Oilers?
No, I don't think so.
I don't either, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I feel like if they were playing in New York with McDavid and Draisaitl, I think the noise would be even louder because New York's a better hockey town, but New York is a big hockey, like it's a big place, right? I think that at the end of this, if the Oilers don't have a Stanley Cup in hand, at least one, then I think that ownership and all the managers and all the coaches are going to be blamed for. I don't think McDavid will be, and I don't think Draisaitl will be.
I'll blame them.
So you blame McDavid?
Blame's a strong word, but I would hold it against them. Yes.
I think there are years. I think there are years where they have not had the horses, and I think this year might be one of them.
I would agree.
Yeah.
The other thing about
no, go ahead.
I was just going to say the other thing about New York. It is an interesting conversation, right? Because obviously New York's New York, and it's the Mecca, but they also have the Knicks and the Giants and the Jets and the Yankees and the Mets, and here it's Canada, and it's the only show in town in terms of North American Big Four sports league. So it does raise an interesting conversation, like where would the magnifying glass be a little tighter? Yeah. I don't know.
Well, it's a great question because I do think that Edmonton is a tough town to play in.
I agree.
But I think Toronto is, and Montreal. I've heard stories about Montreal being very difficult. It's bilingual. So maybe
you get it in 2 languages.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Vancouver seems like they're mad until then they give up and they just go to the beach. And Calgary, I think Calgary's a pretty chill kind of a city.
Vancouver's anger almost seems forced. I don't want to call it fake, but it seems like here when the Oilers don't play well, like it's real and they wear that on the chin and they take that. Fans, I mean. In Vancouver, it's almost like they feel like they have to pretend to care, but then they just go to the beach, like you said. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that and I've said this before, but I think Oiler fans in Edmonton and in Alberta are like Rough Rider fans in Saskatchewan, where it's borderline religion. And I'm not trying to, say something that will offend people, but I think that it is that kind of intensity where when the Oilers win, everybody's so happy it's almost like delirious, and then when they lose, everybody's so angry that it's probably a little unhealthy. I think that's fair.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely. There you can point to more than a few markets where that's the case, and I think, like you said, the Rough Riders and the Oilers, I think those two firmly fall into that category.
Yeah, I think that's fair. All right, we'll take a break. Your comments on the way. Josh got back from the washroom. We're all ready to go. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
He's a winner.
Sweet.
She's a winner too.
Right.
Everyone's a winner during Wish and Win at Wolf GMC Buick. Every single customer is guaranteed at least a $500 bonus with a chance to save up to $25,000 towards a new GMC or Buick. At Wolf GMC Buick, we also have 0% financing up to 84 months on most of our popular SUVs and trucks, and we're clearing out remaining 25s, including cash discounts up to $10,000 on a great selection of Sierra HDs, 90 seconds east of the Henday. Wolf GMC Buick, where everyone wins.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
We want orange. Give us the orange. We want orange. Bring back the orange.
You got it, Canada. Booster Juice orange smoothies are back by popular demand. The original, the marathon, and orangesicle smoothies are back and bursting with tangy zest of oranges. They're Canadian favorites. Orange, you glad they're back? Only for a limited time. So squeeze the day, smoothie lovers, and head to a Booster Juice near you now. Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
At Fountain Tire, get up to 15% off select tires, up to $125 off a set of 4 select Goodyear tires, and $50 off $150 service until December 13th. Restrictions apply. Book today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
Black Friday deals continue at The Brick. And until December 11th, you can save big in every department. Save up to $1,000 off sectionals, up to 40% off mattresses, and up to 30% off furniture. Plus, buy more, save more, up to an extra $300 off select major appliances. Don't wait for the crowds. It's your last chance for Black Friday deals. See thebrick.com for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
Sleep is for the off-season. What off-season? Sports 1440 is live, loud, and locked 24/7. Oilers, Elks, Riverhawks, Stingers, Oil Kings. We've got your fix. Edmonton's home for sports is Sports 1440.
I'm Grant Fedork from Leading Edge Physiotherapy, and people who suffer brain fog might think it's just going to be part of their life. But listen, I've seen a 38-year-old mom managing a concussion read her kid a bedtime story without losing the plot, all because of cognitive rehab that rewires the brain like a GPS reboot. Your brain isn't broken, it's buffering. One missed beat in focus, memory, or balance snowballs into frustration, falls, or forgotten keys. Stroke, concussion, long COVID, even aging can all lead to brain fog. Cognitive rehab works. Check us out at leadingedgephysio.com before your next "where'd I put my phone" moment.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection? Incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Ring in the new year with a Canadian country legend. December 31st, in concert at the Silent Ice Center in Nisku. Brett Kissel. She drives me crazy. With special guests Haley Benedict and Morgan Kleiber. Bring your friends, your cowboy boots, and your party spirit for a night full of hits, celebration, and unforgettable memories. Hosted by Chris Sheets. The countdown to 2026 starts with Brett Kissel live on stage. Get your tickets now at silenticecenter.com/events.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440. 122. We're brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Check them out. We should win event on right now. WolfGMCBuick.com. LT, has anybody been talking about the lack of interest in Oilers tickets lately? During the 5-game homestand, there are lots of tickets available for sale. I haven't followed that. I know that whenever I see the game, whenever I'm at the game, seems like it's well attended. Around December, you do get some unusual schedules, and it might be the quality of the team or the team that's actually playing. Sometimes These clubs come to town more often than others. But I will tell you, last I checked, the Oilers season ticket holder wait list was as long as, the distance between downtown and West Edmonton Mall. This franchise, this brand is out of sight. It's number one in the city by so much that number two is well below the event horizon. The Oilers are it. It's the game in town. And there's great hockey that we could be talking about. Oil Kings, AJHL, University. But the appetite for Oilers hockey is overwhelming. It's enormous. It's there's no real comparison, I don't think, in the city. I have people today. I published at 8:43, I think, and I had a couple of people saying, "Where is it?" And I've been doing it for 20 years. Like there's just an appetite for it, and that includes going to the games. Because guess what? And like I have no association with the Edmonton Oilers, none. Nobody's telling me to say this, but the best entertainment on planet Earth will play tonight a little after 7:00 at Rogers Place, and his name is Connor McDavid. I saw Bobby Orr, I saw Gordie Howe, I saw Guy Lafleur, I saw Gretzky, I saw Coffey, I saw Messier, I've seen Crosby. Connor McDavid is the best entertainment. Now, if there was an NBA franchise in Edmonton, or there was a Major League Baseball team, then we could compare it to something else. But in this city, hockey rules, the Oilers rule, and they have the best single player on the planet Earth. That's just my opinion, but I think it's reflected in the people might not make it to a game. People might want to sell their tickets to a game. I know friends of mine who can sell their Leafs tickets and their Habs tickets and their Bruins tickets and make up a large percentage of their season tickets because the appetite for those games is so large. I'm a different fan than my children because they have never experienced the elation of multiple wins and a pile of success. It's true. I've told this story before, but in 1989, when the Oilers lost, my father-in-law lived in Medicine Hat, he's since passed away. The Oilers lost in 89. I don't remember who won that year.
I do.
The Oilers didn't make it through in 89. And my father-in-law called me. And he always would congratulate me when the Oilers won the Stanley Cup. And I did congratulate him with Calgary won the Stanley Cup. It's one phone call. I can do that. But he said, I'm sorry your team lost in 89. And I said, well, thanks, Dad. I appreciate it. He goes, I'm glad. And I said, why? And he said, because you are so arrogant about the Oilers. And this is a guy, I loved him and he loved me. He was like my second dad. And I was like, what? He goes, no, you're just a jerk. And, dads can say that. But I had no idea how I was with him. I just thought, well, they're that good. They win all the time. Everybody knows it. And so there's no way this generation of Oilers fan could ever be that arrogant as I was. This is not possible because when they do win, and I think they will, when they do win, then I think there'll be more relief than there is elation. JMO, as the kids say. Evan Bouchard is the Canadian version of Erik Karlsson. Huge offensive upside, defensively struggles, probably go down the second highest scoring Oilers defenseman of all time. I think, Karlsson had some enormous years of outscoring. So he's had a long career, and there have been way lows. But a lot of that has, with respect, and I'd have to look it up to make sure, but a lot of it had to do with injuries for Erik Karlsson, in my opinion. Bouchard has been extremely durable. LT, speaking of the dark days, do you remember Mike Morrison? How he would go on for shootouts even when he wasn't the starter. LOL. I do. I remember he had a great Boston accent, because you get used to hearing actualities from players, and it's usually, if it's an accent, it's usually European, and lots of Canadian non-accents or accents that I would recognize as being similar to the way I'm speaking. But he had the real, a refreshing Boston, New England kind of accent. I really like that about Mike Morrison. Calgary won in 89. I know, I was teasing. Dale says, you're bang on, LT. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I will say that I think the Oilers, because of the malaise of the team, I do think there's a sense of usually it's 41 home games during the regular season. There's 3 or 4 or 5 preseason games, and then there's the playoffs, right? There's not as much of buzz about a midweek regular season game this year, but I think a lot of it has to do with there's just been so much hockey in the last 2 years. The season ends in April, but the Oilers play till late June. So that's, May, June. That's about 5 months more of hockey for the Oilers than anybody else. And I do think that this year with the Olympic year and the compressed schedule, it's a little bit of a lot. You get used to the pace of an NHL schedule. This does seem like a very aggressive schedule, right? They play a lot. Those are the reasons maybe I'm wrong, but TV was different in the 80s. We never got to watch the Oilers every night. We had blackout games also. Remember, LT? I do. I listened to Rod a lot. By 86, I'd met and knew Rod, and I loved him before then, He's the one that told me I did not remember that he didn't broadcast the first year's worth of games when they were the Alberta Oilers. They were the Edmonton Oilers from 73 on in the WHA. And, but yeah, I love hockey on radio and baseball on radio too. So it's not, I think when you get used to it, the descriptions and all of that, you obviously want to see the game, but it's okay to hear it on the radio. It doesn't hurt you.
During the Jays playoff run, I would often be listening to the radio call, right, because you could access it on the Sportsnet app, whatever. And I'd be going out somewhere. There was a while there where our TV wasn't working, but I really enjoyed it. I really liked the call because I remember Game 3 of the Mariners series. Barger hits a 2-shot in the bottom of the 4th, I think. And I was basically jumping up and down in my car. I was going to meet a bunch of friends, but I was listening to that and pull into the spot. And I'm like, okay, I got to wait till Barger's at bat is over. And you could hear the crack on the radio. Yeah. And I was like, this is Electric Factory.
Yeah. Love it.
Love it. It was great. I really enjoyed it.
And you remember it, right? I think in some ways you remember a radio call more than you remember a TV call.
Yeah, because they have to describe everything to you, and you have to be actively listening to what it is they're saying. So you put it to memory.
Right. And it is your visual is coming from the verbal. Lindsay from Lloydminster, Bouchard causes more losses than helps wins, catastrophic mistakes over and over and over again. I just have to push back on that. That is totally untrue. And I know that people like to frame issues. And I know that he has enough flaws to make it worth discussing, a discussion point. But Evan Bouchard has been on the right side of goals for and against for several years now in a big way, and he certainly is. Even this year, he is absolutely on the right side of that score. So, for me, I like I'm never tired of comments that are made. But I will say that you know, the whole thing about Evan Bouchard is that he's not the kind of defenseman Oilers fans like Jason Smith, you know, or Kevin Lowe. And I get that. You like the rugged guys. Totally, as a fan base, I understand it. I honestly think Kevin Lowe was far more popular than Paul Coffey when both were playing in Edmonton. But that doesn't mean that Paul Coffey wasn't a brilliant player, and it doesn't mean that he was not central to them winning Stanley Cups when he was here. And the same can be said for Evan Bouchard. I think you can be critical of him without going that far. You know, like, I mean, they paid him $10.5 million, and there was an offer sheet coming from Carolina if they didn't. Owners don't lay down $10 million for nothing. Lowetide, you're bang on with hockey on the radio. I can't even imagine having to go listen to the TV right now. I'd love to have a stopwatch to see how many minutes of the game are called. Well, everybody, you know, we have this about 4 or 5 years or maybe longer into a period of time, a media individual comes to Edmonton. People, they get a little tired of the individual. That's why me being on the radio this many years is a bit of a surprise, but that's okay. I remember before he got here, people were like, there's nobody as critical of the Oilers on television. Nobody. Everybody just talks about how great the Oilers are, even though they suck. That's what we got. And then Drew Remenda got here, and he was highly critical of the Edmonton Oilers on television. Highly critical of them. Fair, but critical. And people were alarmed angry about it. And eventually he moved along. And I, you know, like, we'll get stuff every once in a while about the broadcasters who are on the air now. And I usually disregard them because, number one, it's a really hard job. And number two, there is a certain amount of once you've done it a long time, people tire of it a little bit. You know, I mean, these two jokers have worked for me for a year and 2 years plus, and they're barely able to tune in. And they're sitting right next to me.
Oh,
yeah. Drew was all sharks that drove people up the wall. No, he was just critical of the Oilers. And he was critical of the Oilers. Howie Meeker always said, and he wrote in his book, he said, you know, what I try to do is if I'm going to talk about Frank Mihaljevic making a mistake, I try to find something else Frank did that was good in that period, and I show that. So I show both. And maybe that's the way. I don't have the answer. But I do know there's a clock that ticks in everybody's head. And it goes like this. Oh, that's refreshing. I like that guy. And then slowly but surely, it drip, drip, drip. And after a while, I can't stand that guy. And it might be because of the same reason you loved him before. It's like a hit song on the radio. It's like when Josh hears Luke Bryan's new song the first time. He loves it. And then 12 weeks later, he's like, if I hear that thing again, it's going to drive me crazy. And that's the way it works.
You know what I think a great example of this is, which is sort of different because it goes across two different sports, is Eric Collins. He called up Carolina Panthers game this year, but he does I believe it's the play-by-play for the Charlotte Hornets.
Right.
And he is electric. I absolutely love Eric Collins. When I watch a Charlotte Hornets game, I have to find the other broadcast so I can listen to Eric Collins. And he called the Panthers game. He called it like it was, you know, like every play was the most amazing thing. Like it just super animated. And oh my God, like sports, like professional sports are things that you were never able to do as a person, respectfully.
Yeah.
You could not do that.
Right.
So he is like that. You have to understand that what you're watching is amazing. And he does a call where he's like, everything that I get to see is amazing. And NFL fans were like, what the hell is it? Like, come on, guys. It was a 22-19 game or whatever. I was like, yeah, but you wouldn't, like, you didn't know because you just, like, what an electric call. Like, and everyone's so upset at him. I'm like, come on, guys. Like, enjoy it for what it is.
Right. But you've got lazy calls in the NFL. I love Al Michaels, but he's barely interested.
Dude, even, no disrespect, Chris Collinsworth at times is like, Mike, like, come on. Can you believe it, Mike? Like,
you've melded Chris Collinsworth and Louis Armstrong.
Mike, like, I don't know what you're talking about.
By the way, the Oilers have recalled Max Jones from the Condors, placed Connor Clattenburg and Jack Roslovic on injured reserve, and moved defenseman Jake Wallman to LTIR. That means they are at 6 defensemen now, so I suspect another shoe will drop by the time they hit the road. That's my own opinion. Okay. 139 on the way. Declinations. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Across the province, Albertans are taking their shot on Play Alberta. With casino winners every hour, jackpots worth millions, and revenue that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up. Right now, our listeners can score a $50 free bet when they make a minimum $50 deposit with code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for a $50 free bet. Start playing with your game sense today to find out if you're Alberta's next winner.
They're not just a grocery store. They're a butcher, a baker, a cafe, deli, rotisserie pizza, and restaurant, all under one roof. Loca Quality Market does food differently with 2 locations to serve you. Edmonton and Sherwood Park. Visit loca.ca.
This hockey season, before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca.
Winter in Alberta doesn't mess around.
And neither does Titan Supply.
For over 50 years, we've earned the trust of our customers across a variety of industries.
Because we lead with integrity,
honesty,
and respect.
I'm Joe.
And I'm Brent from Titan Supply. When the weather hits hard,
we're fully stocked with rigging, lifting, and hauling gear that works as hard as you do.
Titan Supply.
Built on trust, driven by safety.
Serving Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary.
Let us help you face the weather the Titan way.
Visit titansupply.ca.
Hockey talent from across the globe is coming to Camrose. The Viking Cup returns for the first time in nearly 20 years, December 28th to January 3rd at the Encana Arena. Witness this elite competition between teams from Canada, the USA, and Europe. See the speed, skill, and intensity of world-class hockey right at home. Fully bet packages are on sale now with adult and student pricing available. Get your tickets before they sell out at vikingcup.ca.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Can you fit Sports Encyclopedia on a business card?
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. Check it out, wolfgmcbuick.com. They have their Wish and Win event on right now. 142. Cold day. Little breezy too. Yeah, put on the winter duds. Snowmobile suit, the whole 9 yards today. Time for Declinations, brought to you by Elks Nation. Check out the new website, elksnation.ca. Article, podcast, and more breaking down the green and gold, the most in-depth double E football coverage anywhere online. elksnation.ca. And now it's time for Declan CAA and Declinations.
Man, I don't even know. Like, there's just so much to talk about. I guess what we got to start with is the bracket. The conference championship weekend has obviously passed. The college football bracket came out. As we discussed briefly on Monday, Miami got that final at-large bid over Notre Dame. The correct decision in that respect, if it came down to those two, we have evidence of a head-to-head matchup. It always had to go to Miami. Like I said, I understand Notre Dame's grievance in the sense that for 6 weeks of a rankings release show on Tuesdays, Notre Dame was ahead of Miami. and then neither team played a game during conference championship week, and all of a sudden Miami ends up with the final spot. Like, it was the right decision. Miami Notre Dame played and Miami won. They deserve to be there. But I understand that Notre Dame feels a little hosed in that respect. They obviously pull out of a bowl game. Their rationale was, we don't want ESPN benefiting from the allure of our program with their ratings, so we're just not going to play it. I went back and I looked at a bunch of the numbers because I was really kind of curious about how big of a draw Notre Dame actually is. So they were only in one of the top 20 most viewed college football games this season. Last season, now, outside of the college football playoff, which I understand it's hard to take that out because it is, the biggest and the best, and they were in the championship. But when you talk about the top 25 regular season games from last season, Notre Dame was only in the one of the top 25 most viewed, only 2 in the top 90. Again, 2023, similar, only 1 in the top 25. 2022, 1 in the top 10. 2019, I skipped the COVID seasons, 1 in the top 10. In 2018, 2 in the top 10. So I think they're a little bit pompous and arrogant. I think they think their brand is a little bit bigger than it is. Haven't won a national championship in 37 years. They've only been to the playoffs 3 times. And again, Miami should have been there instead of them. Miami got in instead of them. Now, I actually had BYU over both of them. BYU, listen, just because they got absolutely dog-walked and sculled by Texas Tech doesn't mean they're not one of the top 12 best teams in the country. Like, they were never going to make it because they were the first team out already before they lost during conference championship weekend. I would have had them in over Miami and Notre Dame. Now, I actually went back and I looked at a bunch of different metrics, and this is for all the Miami/Notre Dame/Bama apologists. Bama I also had in, by the way, but I looked at SP Plus, which is a tempo and opponent adjusted measure of efficiency, FPI, strength of record, strength of schedule, game control, efficiency, and the Sagarin ratings, which is like a computer generated metric. And BYU was pretty much last in all of them. So I understand the argument for Miami over BYU in that sense. I still would have had BYU. Like, Miami was 10-2 with losses to Louisville and SMU going into conference championship weekend. They didn't make their conference championship game in a league where the winner was not even deemed good enough to get in by the committee. And BYU, obviously they were 11-1. Like I said, only loss was on the road to a top 5 team, played that team again, got hosed again, but still, I would have had them in there. And Bama, there was a lot of talk about Bama. I had Bama in safely as well. Like, I didn't really think it was an argument, honestly. They were in safely at 10-2. I didn't think they should be out for losing the conference championship game against Georgia, even though they did get killed. And this is kind of the big reason why. Like, if you kick Bama out for losing the championship game, but you keep Ole Miss, Texas Tech, and Oklahoma in, like, those are 3 other SEC teams who weren't good enough to make the conference championship game. Alabama was. So I'm not going to kill them for losing that game.
Don't you think the SEC, like Notre Dame, has a footprint that's too large?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Now, I think the SEC, I do think they're the deepest conference, and it's simple. They do care more, and it does mean more in the South. Like, that whole joke that we kind of poke fun of them for, it's true. It does mean more down there. The ratings reflect it. I think it's the deepest conference. I don't think it's the best at the top end anymore.
And they recruit the best players, right? Like, more as a percentage.
Yeah, they had. The NIL era has changed things. And that's kind of what I was talking about. Like, the Big Ten now, I think, has kind of replaced them with the top heavy talent. Like, I think, obviously, the Big Ten's won the last 2 national championships. 3 of the top 5 teams this year are in the Big Ten. There's only 1 in the SEC. I think it's a changing of the guard. So, with that said, I want to take a look at the bracket here and break down those matchups.
And I just want to say one thing. No matter how pissy the ACC gets about stuff, Notre Dame trumps all. Like, they are the most entitled bunch of big baby energy for not going to a bowl game to punish somebody, the world.
Without a doubt. Listen, the clip we posted on Monday, people talked about, like, are you going to get mad at, Kansas State and Iowa State and the other schools who declined a bowl game? It's like, well, okay. So you got, I think it was 8 schools who declined a bowl game because they had a losing record,
right,
which is more than fair. They didn't feel they deserved to be there. By the way, you couldn't even get in with a losing record until like 10 years ago when the NCAA had to expand bowl season to just feed their pockets with money. Like, you shouldn't get in as a losing team anyway. So a losing team declining, I have no problem with. Iowa State and Kansas State, who also declined bowls but were bowl eligible, they both lost their coaches. So, like, they had legitimate reasons. What was Notre Dame's reason? They just felt They just felt like they just didn't want to be there. They just wanted to go cry in a corner.
It's just like
quit like a champion today. That's Notre Dame's motto. So
it's just like with kids. If you spoil your kids, then one day they get a comeuppance. It's the biggest surprise in the world, and that's Notre Dame. They've been spoiled for decades.
And here's the other thing: athletic directors around the country, across the different Power Four conferences, are they're in a process of like freezing Notre Dame out of their scheduling. And this is like very convoluted. I wouldn't expect people to know, but like Notre Dame doesn't play in a conference. So essentially each year they have to like pick just different teams around the schedule from around the country that have a scheduling open at different weeks and schedule them. And it seems like there's kind of been a movement here in the last couple of days where athletic directors are like, yeah, we're not going to schedule you. We don't like your attitude. And that like listen, as big of a brand as Notre Dame is, because for all we rag on them, they are a big brand.
Oh yeah.
But for as big as they are, like you don't play in like you need these other teams to schedule you. Like if you don't have these other teams, you don't have a season.
And also, I think it's bad for Notre Dame. They haven't won a championship like since I was a young person.
37 years.
Yeah, and part of it is because they keep getting rewarded for mediocrity.
Yeah, like they've in 11 years of the playoff, they've been there 3 times.
Embarrassing.
Like now they did make the Natty last year. Deservedly so, but still. Matchups. Okay. 12th ranked JMU versus 5th ranked Oregon. I mean, thanks for coming out, JMU. That won't be close. I love that JMU got in. I think it's awesome. I think it's very cool. They were an FCS school just a couple years ago. They are not on the same competitive field as Oregon. Like this isn't the NHL where the Sabres can walk into Edmonton and get after losing to Calgary and win a game. Like that's not what we're going to see here. This is going to be, the line is 21.5 in a playoff game. JMU covering would be awesome. I don't even know if I see that. The 11-6 matchup. Similarly, another group of 5 team, Tulane. They're playing Ole Miss. Now, Ole Miss doesn't have their coach. This is actually a rematch from earlier this season. Do you guys want to guess what the score was in that one? Tulane and Ole Miss? Played already this year.
34-20.
Josh?
54-12.
You're close. It was 45-10. Now we have that as a playoff matchup. Listen, I love the group of 5 being there because there is going to be a year when a group of 5 team wins a game or wins a couple games and makes a run. And it's awesome for the sport to have them in there. And like Boise State last year, they had an elite Heisman caliber player. They only lost 1 game, which was to the number 1 overall seed in Oregon on a field goal. Like they deserve to be there, and it was awesome. And I think there's going to be a year where it comes where a group of 5 team is going to have a legitimate claim, and they're going to win some games. Not this year. We do not need to put Tulane and JMU in there just for the heck of it. I love that we have group of 5 representation. We got to be serious about what these 2 games are. Texas A&M and Miami in the 7-10 matchup. The Notre Dame Daddy Bowl. Whoopsies. 2 teams that beat Notre Dame this year. Really interested to see how this one goes. I think Miami, if both teams play to their utmost capability, I think Miami's a better team than Texas A&M. I think Texas A&M was very favored by their schedule this year. But Texas A&M, but Miami doesn't always play to that level. And I think Texas A&M plays with just a touch more of an identity. So I like them to win a really close game. And then Bama, Oklahoma, a rematch. Oklahoma beat Bama earlier this year. Bama somehow favored by -1.5, despite only having -3 rushing yards in the SEC championship game. That's awesome. Both of these teams are deeply, horrendously flawed. Like Alabama can't run the football, which is a bread and butter piece of what Alabama's done forever. Oklahoma is just like they got outgained in that Alabama game. They won the turnover battle. Their defense is elite. They can't do anything offensively. Like this is just like the idea of playoff expansion is we want to see how many teams can really win a title. And this 8-9 matchup, like we are not looking at 2 teams that can win a title.
So we know that the pool of talent stops somewhere before there, the elite talent that could win the championship.
Yeah, like listen, and it was similarly like the first year of the college football playoff, the 4 seed won. So immediately everyone was like, okay, here we go. This is why we need a playoff. Absolutely. And last year, first year of the 12-team playoff, the 8 seed Ohio State Buckeyes won. And everyone was like, there you go. That's why you expanded. This year, like, I'm sorry, we do not need 12 teams. Like there's 5 teams that maybe 6 that have an argument. 5, I would probably say actually. I don't know. It's just listen, it's fun. It's free football. It's awesome. I'm going to be watching. But we got to be serious about the amount of teams that can actually win a championship this year.
4, right? Like 4 is the number. You play like a semifinal and then a final.
I would have been happy with 6 or 8. I think 12's a bridge too far. And they want to move it to 16 now.
Yeah, it's because it's money, right? Because, if we did this and then we did this and then we could be, 2 weeks before the Super Bowl, we could play the final,
Sorry, I'm just the reason I was looking at the clock. I really wanted to get to the Sharon Moore story. I'm going to have to hit the outro here right away. Listen, this is an unbelievable story.
It's worse than can be imagined.
It's worse than you think it is. Sharon Moore had an illicit affair with a staffer, got her pregnant, paid for her abortion, allegedly stalked her, then was fired by Michigan because they found out about this alleged affair. Apparently they knew about it but wanted to wait until after the early signing period. They then fired him. He apparently went crazy, threatened to kill himself in front of his wife, went to a staffer's house. I'm not sure if it was her or if it was a different staff member, alleged to kill himself again, then got arrested, spent the night in jail. It's worse a story than you think it is.
Yeah, that's it. I stopped reading it. That's how upsetting it is. Just like, wow. Okay. Now, we will be on the air tomorrow and we'll be completely calm. Steve Lansky probably won't be, but he's a great guy. He'll be on the radio with us, and we'll be talking about the Detroit Red Wings Edmonton Oilers result. Jason Krueger will help preview the game coming up. Thanks for tuning in. Please enjoy your day.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by meals.loca.ca. Dinner just got a whole lot easier and tastier. Head to meals.loca.ca, select the number of chef-crafted meals you'd like to eat, and get them delivered to your door every Sunday for as low as under $10 per serving. Eat, repeat. Meals.loca.ca. Edmonton Oilers, of course, in action tonight as they play host to the Detroit Red Wings, 7 p.m. puck drop for that one. Pre-game coverage is going at 6 with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson. Elsewhere in the NHL, we'll see the Sharks and Maple Leafs, Lightning and Devils, Ducks and Islanders, Golden Knights and Flyers, Canadians and Penguins, Hurricanes and Caps, and Sens and Blue Jackets, all kicking off the day's action at 5. The late game tonight, we'll see the Buffalo Sabres in Vancouver taking on the Canucks. In the NBA, we have 4 games on the schedule today. The Clippers in Houston against the Rockets, the Celtics in Milwaukee against the Bucks, and the Trailblazers in New Orleans against Derek Queen and the Pelicans at 6. The late game tonight in the league, we'll see the Nuggets and the Kings at 8. Thursday night football tonight as the Atlanta Falcons take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in an NFC South divisional battle. 6:15 kickoff for that one. And in the sporting world, Robert Suarez has signed a 3-year, $45 million contract with the Braves, while TJ Watt has been hospitalized after experiencing discomfort in his lungs. I'm Declan Krueger on behalf of Josh Fenwick and Lowetide. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
More Edmonton families than ever are struggling as food prices skyrocket. The Holiday Hamper Foundation provides festive meals for 2,000 homes in need. Your donation ensures a turkey is on the